Welcome to my in-depth review and comparison of the IAG EZ Step and NXTGEN Cross Terrain. When shopping for these two popular models for my factory Rubicon rails, there were no in-depth reviews and no direct comparisons. So I decided to buy a pair of each to try and make this review. I paid for each, including the associated return fees for the ones I did not keep. Both step models are intended to work with the non-wide version of the factory rails that come on many Wrangler and Gladiator models. And both are said to be made in the USA. So let's take a closer look at both. The IAG package kept the steps in place, but the other components were floating around loose and scuffed up the steps a little bit. The NXTGEN package was another level, with multiple layers of protection and every piece in its own custom section. No parts touch, and despite the fact that the box came a little roughed up by UPS, everything was in perfect condition. They are both premium-priced products, but the NXTGEN packaging feels far more premium. As you unpack, the IAG steps continue to leave a bit to be desired. No tools are included, metal pieces are touching inside thin paper wrap, and you get the exact amount of hardware needed. The NXTGEN set definitely keeps the ultra-premium feel you expect at these price points. It includes quality tools, and instead of printer paper, the instructions are on a nice laminated card. Instead of the exact amount of hardware needed, NXTGEN gives several sets of extra hardware in case you damage or mangle any using the Jeep and steps as intended. When it comes to installing, both are pretty straightforward. The IAG model requires you to use a L bracket that attaches to the pinch weld bolts on just one side. Since no tools are included, you'll need to grab your own, and then you really need to get under the Jeep each time you want to add or remove them for the easiest access and visibility. It is definitely not hard to do, but it is a little bit more to do each time you want to remove, then add back, if you are serious about having a removable step for off-road use. Based on reviews, I wasn't quite expecting this. The NXTGEN steps take a different approach with their patented clamping system. The first installation, you take the time to space the clamps and get them in place. To do this, there is no need to get under the Jeep. Once the clamps are on, according to NXTGEN, you leave them on the rails, even for more technical off-roading. Then you can pretty quickly and easily add or drop the step portion from the clamps with the included tools for full rail clearance. Once installed on the vehicle, that's where the differences become most significant. Our family Rubicon has a 2-inch lift and 35-inch tires, and the IAG step sits extremely high up. The step and height of the NXTGEN step is perfect for my 5'1" wife. The IAG step was too tall for her, requiring her to step way up, then pull herself up. She said it was honestly easier to get in without it. Getting out with the IAG step is also awkward for her at 5'1" and me over 6 foot tall. The IAG step is not only quite high up, but it is very wide and there is no real way around it as it sticks out a lot. This makes the NXTGEN step's clever design a lot easier to live with and a better aid to getting in and out. At over 6 feet tall, it is still useful for me. But if I don't want to use it, it is not in the way despite being the same depth as the IAG step. I do like to go on trails, so something particularly important to me is the clearance comparison. The IAG step is higher, but the NXTGEN step is not a concern. Most of the trails in my area I hit most often are not super technical, and I can honestly leave the NXTGEN on based on my measurements. The width of the IAG step is a much larger clearance concern. Despite my Wrangler having the widest Rubicon fenders and larger offset tires that poke out, the IAG steps surprisingly still stick out further than the tires, where the NXTGEN step is a few inches less than the tire. The clearance issue I have most of the time is narrow passages or things sticking out onto the trail, and not height. That makes the IAG step actually the lower clearance step, at least for me, clipping something with the IAG step, and it really only being secured on one side would probably not end well for my Jeep either. All in all, the rugged feel is just not there with the IAG steps. The hardware is comparatively small, as are the welds and attachments. The clamping system of the next-gen step is another level, fully gripping the rail, and massive compared to IAG's. The same can be said about the hardware that attaches the step parts to the frames. With a few small screws or rivets on IAG compared to 8 much larger bolts, the next-gen step actually has no welds and in person is a rather robust piece. I weighed each, and the IAG steps are just over 2 pounds per step, compared to 10 pounds per next-gen step. Yes, the IAG step is the cheaper of the two, but not by much. Both are higher-priced options for sure, but only the next-gen step feels expensive. From the packaging to fit and finish, the instructions and function. Everything about the next-gen step is far more premium, better quality, and at least in my opinion, far more worth the price. Our family will be returning the IAG, which felt, unfortunately, very overpriced and didn't help us get in or out of our Jeep. Thanks for watching.